was a rainy Christmas morning in 2001, and I was extremely disappointed to open up my first present and find 4 books. Throughout our adolescence, we struggle to find who we are and how we connect with others so that way we don't feel so alone. It's through common interests and experiences that we find others to connect with, and one of the greatest common bonding topics that I've had in my life has always been Harry Potter. So today I would like to explain to you how I was convinced to actually read a book, how this series has literally given me friendships, and how Harry Potter ended up getting me through the most difficult point in my life so far. Now, I'd like to start by explaining to anybody who's unfamiliar with the Harry Potter series that it starts by introducing a young boy of 10 years old named Harry Potter who has grown up with no friends, no hope, who believes he's simply average, but comes to find just how special he is in a world of magic and adventure. And it was so easy for me to connect with Harry, and I wanted so desperately to be a part of a world just full of wonder and excitement, so unlike this. Now, for you to totally grasp the impact that this series has had on me, you need to understand just how absolutely painfully shy and quiet and awkward I was as a kid. I had very, very few friends, and the interests that I had were not very common for somebody my own age. And so when I was 10 years old, my elementary school was abuzz with the topic of this new series called Harry Potter. I wasn't a very confident reader back then, and so I had very little interest in this topic. Needless to say, I was pretty disappointed when I ended up receiving the original 4 books myself for Christmas that year. Admittedly, they ended up sitting on a shelf for quite some time collecting dust, but through pressure from my mother and also mostly my best friend and only friend at the time, Destiny, I gave in and finally cracked open one of the books and started reading. And this has proven to be one of the best decisions I have ever made in my life in the following ways. So through reading these books, I found that I finally had something in common with other kids my own age. I wasn't very talkative, but I was still able to manage to make a couple of friendships. I had grown to love and know all the characters in this book series, but I was finally able to talk about that passion and love with somebody else in real life and make friends, and that was something truly amazing to me. Even as an adult, I've made so many of my friends through Harry Potter. Harry Potter fans generally love sharing their passions for the fandom. And so it's really easy to connect with them through simply complimenting on a pin or a shirt or a bag that may have a Harry Potter logo or symbol on it. And so through these books, I have made so many friendships in my life, and I'm grateful for that. Hermione Granger is quoted in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Books and cleverness, there are more important things like friendship and bravery. Now, I'd like to tell you how these books have helped keep life in a friendship that I've lost. Throughout my childhood, I always had my best friend, Destiny. We grew up more like sisters than best friends. Our mothers were best friends prior to us being born. They got pregnant about the same time, and they actually coincidentally had us just one day apart from each other. Here we are, so cute, little babies. So we literally lived at each other's houses all throughout our youth until my family ended up moving away. But even then, we were still able to visit each other on the constant, right? And once we ended up reaching middle school age and we discovered what telephones were, that was the end of it. We could easily spend 8 hours on a phone call together talking about everything and nothing at all. And we had such a deep passion and love for Harry Potter. Now, it was 2010, June 12th, when I got a phone call at 7 in the morning from my mom saying that Destiny had been rear-ended by a drunk driver going 100 miles an hour and she didn't make it. Now, through all the pain and the heartache that I've experienced, I found myself coming back time and time again to the book series because in those pages I found some solace going back to the story that we loved together. Now, Harry Potter was always the greatest common bond that we had throughout our lives, and it will remain forever, and that is something that I am so grateful to have. Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is quoted saying, After all, to the well-organized mind, death is nothing more than the next great adventure. To sum up, many people meet their favorite people through shared love of a sports team or music, but I've met some of my favorite people through sharing a love for a world of magic and wonder. I am so grateful for the push that I got to read this book because it's opened up doorways for me to make so many of the friendships that I have today. And it's helped given me the strength and peace of mind to cope with the death of destiny. Looking back, it's kind of funny to think that the greatest gift that I'd ever receive would be a no good, awful book set that I received on a rainy Christmas morning nearly 20 years ago.